Hey guys, so Jacob is a month old today, which means I finally get to tell you guys my birth story. You saw the birth vlog, but now I'm going to tell you all the behind the scene details. So you guys may have seen the birth vlog, and if you did, I'm so happy that you saw it, and I'm so happy that we got to film it. A lot happened that we didn't film, so let me give you some details. As many of you know, we decided to induce because Jacob was actually 6 days past his due date, and our doctor had raised some concerns with us that led us to that decision. So we ended up inducing with Pitocin. We started that at 9:30 in the morning. Everything happened very quickly from there. My contractions started probably about 15 minutes into the Pitocin, which we started off very slowly and then gradually went up with. So it started off at a 2 and then goes to a 4, 6, 8, and so on, all the way up to 20. I never got that far though. I think the Pitocin went up to a 12 if I remember correctly. That's my guess. So my contractions started off gradual. I started having a contraction and then about a minute and a half to 2 minutes of a break, and then a contraction and then another break. And then it went from that to all of a sudden I had no break at all. I was in a tremendous amount of pain. I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even move, really. I was scrunched up into this ball, screaming into the pillow and holding Mike's hand and holding the bar of the bed. It went from 0 to 100 in a matter of about half an hour. It was insane. I was not prepared for that. My nurses and doctor were actually also surprised by how fast everything went. None of us expected it to go that fast, and so it was really a shock for all of us. I think the most terrifying part for me was when I did start screaming, involuntarily I might add. It just sort of came out of me. My nurse came in and said, "Are you ready to push?" And I could hear the uncertainty in her voice when she was asking me, and I was already at the point where I couldn't really talk very well. The light bulb went off and I realized, holy crap, I am ready to push, but it's way too soon. It's only been like 2.5 hours. Shouldn't I have a few more hours left of this to go? But at the same time, feeling grateful that this could be over soon, so maybe we should do this. I had originally planned not to get an epidural, and I wanted to do my birth as naturally as possible. But when things started getting crazy painful, I did cave and I asked for an epidural, but they had started prepping me. And then right after that was when the nurse asked me if I was ready to push. So I actually ended up not getting my epidural that I caved and asked for. So I did have him naturally, which is exactly what I wanted. Once I started pushing, Mike tells me that I pushed through 5 contractions. I'm gonna just take his word on that because I don't remember how many contractions I pushed through. I was just trying to get through the end of this because I was just in so much pain. It was incredible. Because things happened so quickly, I tore really badly. Nobody's really told me my degree of tear or how many stitches I had, so I don't know like all the technical terms and stuff, but basically I tore as much as you can. I'm not gonna go into details, but you can figure that out. It hurt and it sucked. Baby! Ah! Baby! There he is! While I was pushing, I knew that things were really happening because all of a sudden I heard Mike say, "Oh my God, I can see his head and he has hair." When Mike said that, I also started pushing a lot harder because I realized, oh, he really is ready to come out. And so that was my motivation to push really hard. And I think from that point is when I had maybe 2 or 3 pushes left, and then he was here. And all of a sudden I heard my doctor say, "Reach down and take your baby." And I actually sat up, reached down and pulled Jacob out of me once his head and shoulders were out, and then put him on my chest. So that was incredible. That was not something that I was expecting to be able to do, but I got to do that, and that was just amazing. Once he was out, everything felt so much better, although I did still have the afterbirth of the placenta, and then I had to get stitched up and all of that. So they were doing all of that while I was holding Jacob, and I had a lot happening all at once. There was a big rush of all these nurses and my doctor and getting stitched up, and you do get lidocaine when they're stitching you up, but they missed a few spots, so I felt a few stitches, which was not fun. Ow! I kept feeling a bunch of pinching happening, and then I had the shivers, so I'm holding this baby and shaking. It was very overwhelming, and then all of a sudden they cleaned up, they took all the sheets, they cleaned up the baby, they took off my gown and gave me a clean gown, and then everybody was gone. After they cleaned up and everybody disappeared, we had this golden hour to just recover from this monumental thing that just happened to us. It was a huge event for both of us. I know I was the one that physically went through it, but emotionally that's a big deal for both of us. And so it was really nice to have that hour to just kind of recuperate. You've probably heard it said before by other moms, but the scariest thing after giving birth is the very first time that you go poop. it's terrifying. It was especially terrifying for me because I did tear so badly that any sort of minor pushing or even movement was just painful beyond belief. I can't even describe it. My brother-in-law asked me what the pain was like, and I can't put it into words. It's the worst pain and the most wonderful pain in the world, I guess, because you're getting this life from the pain. The only thing I could compare it to was getting run over by a semi over and over and over again. If you're watching this and you are about to have your very first baby, I cannot recommend stool softeners enough. Best thing ever, because that first poop is terrifying. You don't want to push, you don't want to tear anything any more than it's already torn. You already feel like your insides are gonna fall out, and so it's really scary. The day after he was born, my stomach felt all weird and gurgly. Like, it was really weird. Like, the only way I could think of describing it is when I stood up, it kind of felt like all of my organs were falling off of bookshelves. I don't know, to give you a visual. Like, all my organs were jumping off of bookshelves and just landing on this weird empty floor. It felt like everything was falling in my belly. It was really strange. That's it for my birth story. Make sure you guys go watch my other video that I also just put out. It's my 1 month update about how I'm doing and how Jacob is doing, and I'm really excited to share that with you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.